Hi, good evening, everyone. So let us now resume our discussion on relevant costing for decision making. We are now on our last problem on accepting or rejecting a special order. So, from last meeting, or that is from the last recording, part 1 of this session, we ended with the following problem. Block Oak Company makes and sells oak boxes for a price of $60 each. Unit costs based on anticipated monthly sales of 1,000 boxes are as follows: DM15, DL12 VOH3, variable selling 5, and fixed cost 2. A chain store has offered to buy 100 boxes per month at 58 each. To accept this special order, Black Oak will have to restrict its sales to regular customers to only 900 boxes per monthly because its production capacity cannot be expanded in the short run. However, no variable selling expenses will be incurred for this special order. If Black Oak accepts the chain store's offer, its profit will. Again, if we reject the order, nothing will happen. If we decided to reject, change would be zero. Zero change in profit. But should we decide to accept this special order, that's the time that something will happen. The sales revenue will go up. The special price is at 58 times 100 units, that's 5,800. However, your expenses will also increase. In particular, we would assume that the variable costs are incremental. So ignore the fixed cost of 2, just focus on the variable cost. However, it is stated that no variable selling expenses will be incurred for this special order, and hence, we would therefore conclude that this $5 variable selling overhead will not form part of our incremental cost. So 15 plus 12 plus 3, that's a total of 30. 30 times 100, that's $3,000. Again, the variable selling overhead of $5 will not be applicable to the special order considered. However, we would have to sacrifice regular sales, no? Restrict its sales to regular customers to only 900 instead of 1,000 boxes. In other words, we are running out of capacity. So how much is the contribution margin of the foregone sale? Now, we could have sold it at $60 to a regular customer, but the variable cost would be higher. 15, 12, 3, and 5, that would be 35. So this would have been the contribution margin for regular sales. Selling price 60, that's the regular selling price, minus variable cost of 35. That is the variable cost for the regular sales. It's 25 times 100 is 25. All things considered, if Black Oak will accept the chain store's offer, its profit will increase by $300. Hence, the correct answer is letter A. Hence, the correct answer is letter A. So for Black Oak Company, correct answer is letter A. Okay, so that would conclude our discussion on special order sales. So let us now proceed to the next type of decision where we would apply marginal analysis, relevant costing, and the principles under marginal analysis. This decision is a make or buy a component. Now, a make or buy type of decision is one where the decision is whether to manufacture a component in-house or purchase it outside from an external supplier. Such kind of decision will also be applicable to services. In this case, should we have an in-house service like accounting and payroll, or we would just rather outsource it. The principles of make or buy would also be applicable. Now, you have to remember that there is a difference in perspective between special order sales, accepting or rejecting such, and make or buy. Magkaiba yung point of view ng special order sales tsaka ng make or buy. Ulitin ko, magkaiba yung perspective na yon. Dito sa special order sales, kung tatanggapin yung order, magiging seller tayo, 'di ba? We are on the selling side in special order decisions. Dito sa make or buy, kung tatanggap tayo ng offer, we will be the one who will buy, no? We will be the one who is on the buy side. So again, wag niyong haluin yung special order sales tsaka yung make or buy sales. Magkaibang bagay yung dalawa. Doon sa special order sales, ang nangyari ay potential seller tayo. No? Yun yung diniscuss natin. It's either we reject the order or accept the order, we will become the seller. Here in make or buy, we are looking things from the point of view of a potential buyer. Should we decide to make, there are costs that could have been avoided if we just buy instead. We call them the avoidable cost of making. If silent, the avoidable cost of making is the variable manufacturing cost. If the problem is silent, the avoidable cost of making would be the variable manufacturing cost. Now, should we decide to make, we will incur cost. Only consider all those costs incurred that can be avoided should we decide to stop making and buy instead. Ang tawag dyan, avoidable cost. Okay? The same logic is applied when you are on the buy side. Okay? If we are going to analyze cost of buying, only consider the cost of buying that can be avoided should we decide to make instead. Additional things to consider, under the make option or the make alternative, take note that this would consume manufacturing capacity. If we decide to make in-house, tayo yung gagawa sa item na yon, we consume factory space. That factory space could have been used for something else. Pwedeng gamitin yung space na yon para pagkakitaan sana. Hindi natin magagawa kung ginagamit natin yon sa paggawa ng component. No? So that is also a relevant cost of making. The relevant cost of making is the sum of the avoidable cost of making and the opportunity cost of making. Meanwhile, the relevant cost to buy will only be the avoidable cost of buying. So that we can appreciate this further, let us answer the following problems. Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds for this one. A company's approach to make or buy decision, blank. Okay na? A company's approach to a make or buy decision. Correct answer is letter A. It involves an analysis of avoidable costs. At this point, I would like you to notice something. In a decision of whether we accept or reject a special order, we focus on the cost that will be incurred as a result of accepting the order. We call that the incremental cost. Dito naman sa make or buy a component or service, our analysis would involve the cost that will be avoided should we decide to stop that alternative. So, ang tinitingnan natin dito, yung mga cost na pwedeng maiwasan. No? Hindi yung mga cost na ma-incur, kundi yung mga cost na pwedeng iwasan. Ganun tayo mag-isip sa make or buy. A company's approach to a make or buy decision, unlike special order sales where we focus on the incremental cost, in make or buy, this involves an analysis of avoidable cost. So the correct answer is letter A. How about this one? Next problem. I shall give you 2 minutes for this one. Harmony. Go. Okay. So I want you to answer this before listening to the solution. If you are not yet done, please do pause this video. Pag hindi pa kayo tapos, paki-pause na lang yung video at tapusin ninyo. Okay? Harmony is currently producing 100 units of a necessary component part by incurring $60,000 in direct materials, $12,500 in direct labor, $22,500 in variable overhead, $15,000 in fixed overhead. Harmony can purchase the component externally for $95,000. $2,500 of the fixed cost can be avoided. What should Harmony do and why? In a make or buy type of problem, we would analyze the cost that can be avoided if we stop doing the alternative. Example, in the cost to make, relevant costs would include the DM, the DL, and the VOH. Not because they are incremental costs, but because they are costs that will be avoided should we decide to stop making. Kung titigil tayo sa paggawa, ito yung mga costs na pwede nating iwasan. Pag silent yung problem, variable manufacturing cost lang talaga ang avoidable. No? So, kung iisipin natin yung cost of making, if we stop making, we will not have to spend on material, labor, and variable overhead. Hindi natin kailangan gastusin yan. We can avoid this cost. Now, when it comes to the fixed overhead, however, you have to imagine that fixed overhead constitutes your depreciation of the factory. No? Factory straight line depreciation, that is a fixed overhead cost, right? Ngayon, itong fixed overhead cost na to, imagine natin na factory depreciation siya. Even if you're going to decide to make or buy, the depreciation will go on. Gagawin mo man yung item or bibili ka, yung factory depreciation, yung mga machine depreciation, tuloy pa rin. So in other words, kapag silent yung problem, fixed manufacturing overhead is unavoidable. Hindi natin siya maiwasan. Gagastusin talaga natin. Sa problem na to, sinabi niya na 2.5 daw ng fixed cost can be avoided. So if we decide to make, the total avoidable cost would include the 2.5 of the fixed cost here. And then there is no alternative use of the capacity mentioned. Kung saan tayo gumagawa, wala namang ibang pwedeng panggamitan. So, hindi naman natin pwede siyang iparent. Walang binanggit sa problem. So, there is no opportunity cost. So, the relevant cost of making is only the total avoidable cost of $97,500. Under the cost to make, The relevant cost is 97,500. Now, should we decide to buy, the relevant cost would be, as stated, $95,000. So, are we going to make or are we going to buy? We would choose the option where we will have the lowest possible cost. It would be better to buy instead. Correct answer is 2,500, favorable to the buy option. Letter A. So the correct answer is letter A. The recommendation we can get is that we can give is buy. No, Harmony should buy instead and save 2,500 if Harmony will buy instead of making. Okay, so that's it for this problem. I'll give you a few minutes to the next. Ito kaya to, no? A few seconds for the next one. Okay, so this is a very short issue. Which of the following is least likely to be a qualitative factor relevant in a make or buy decision? Now, hindi issue dito kung ano yung relevant or irrelevant. Ang issue dito, alin dito yung hindi qualitative factor. Okay, among the choices, it's only letter D or dog. No? Letter dog. Avoidable cost, which is a financial factor or quantitative factor. No? Subset ng quantitative, financial factors. Okay? So when we make a make or buy, whenever we are going to encounter a make or buy decision, should we decide to buy, we have to consider non-financials, the qualitative factors. Are the supplier dependable? Is there a chance that they would be late or are they always early when they provide the supplies? Is the supplier quality good? Is what they are providing good? Maganda ba yung kalidad? And if we decide to buy, what will happen to the workers under the make option? No? Yung laborers under the make option. Are we going to fire them? What will be the impact on the remaining employees' moral? No? So A, boy, and C, mahirap yan gawing numero. No? These are qualitative factors, no? A, B, and C. Pero letter dog, yung avoidable cost, that's definitely quantitative. No? Quantitative yan kasi monetary. So the answer is dog. Okay, 2 minutes for this one. 2 minutes for this one. Okay, finalize your answers, everyone. Okay, if you haven't answered yet, you haven't completed your solution yet, please pause the video and make sure to finish your tentative answer first before you listen to the solution. MC Inc. produces ravioli, tortellini, and other cheese-filled pastas. Each unit of pasta contains 0.5 ounces of filling. Management estimates that MC will use 10,000 pounds of cheese filling each month. The cost associated with each pound of filling consists of 532 direct materials, 748 direct labor, 730 variable overhead, and 650 fixed overhead. Pasta Specialties has offered to supply 10,000 pounds of cheese filling each month for 202,600. Should MC accept the offer to buy the cheese filling? Yes or no? What are the relevant costs related to the make option? So, what are the costs that we incur in making that we can avoid if we buy instead? So, pag silent yung problem, yung variable manufacturing cost, sila lang yung cost na ginagastos sa make option na pwede natin iwasan kung magdesisyon tayo na tumigil na. Again, when the problem is silent, the fixed overhead is unavoidable. Think of it like factory depreciation. Mapamake ka man or mapabuy ka, tuloy lang yung depreciation. It will not make a difference. Okay? So under the make option, always consider the opportunity cost, if any. Is the place where we are producing the cheese filling, can it be used for something else that we can earn from? Pwede ba natin gawa ng ibang product? Iparent natin yung space para kumita naman tayo? That would result to an opportunity cost. In this problem, there's no opportunity cost. The relevant cost of making is 20.10. Now, should we decide to buy, 10,000 pounds would be 202,600. So that's 20.26. Okay? 202,600 divided by 10K, that's 20.26. So between make and buy, it is cheaper to make by 16 cents. So should MC accept the offer to buy the cheese filling? We would recommend not, no? So we answer no, because it will save 0.16 per pound if we produce the filling by ourselves. So the correct answer is B, as in boy. Next, how about this one? I'll give you 1 minute for this one. Okay, again, you may pause this video if you're not yet done answering. So please make sure to answer the problem before deciding, no, to continue with the video. Hindi pa tapos, di pause nyo muna. Aril Industries is a multi-product company that currently manufactures 30,000 units of Part 730 each month for use in production. The facilities now being used to produce Part 730 have a fixed monthly overhead cost of 150,000, theoretical capacity to produce 60,000 units per month. If Aril were to buy Part 730 from an outside supplier, the facilities would be idle. 40% of the fixed cost would continue to be incurred. There are no alternative uses for the facilities. The variable production costs of Part 730 are 11 per unit. Fixed overhead is allocated based upon the planned production levels. Okay? So, if Arel Industries continues to use 30,000 units of Part 730 each month, it would realize a net benefit by purchasing Part 730 from an outside supplier, only if the supplier's unit price is less than. Okay. So, make option. Ano yung relevant cost of making? Kapag silent yung problem, yung avoidable lang yung variable manufacturing cost. It is explicitly stated that the variable production or manufacturing cost is $11 per unit. Fixed overhead, pag silent, hindi yan avoidable. However, accordingly, of your fixed manufacturing overhead, only 40% would continue to be incurred if we stop making. So ulitin ko ha, pag titigil tayo sa paggawa, 40% ng fixed cost lang yung tutuloy. In other words, the remaining 60% is considered avoidable. So the avoidable portion of the fixed manuf overhead is 60% of 150K. Divide this by the 30,000 units. You have $3, no? $3. Okay ba? So of the fixed overhead, $3 per unit would be deemed avoidable. There's no alternative use for the facilities, so there's no opportunity cost. The relevant cost of making is $14. Relevant cost of making is $14. Now, under the buy option, should we decide to buy, it will cost us how much? Hindi ko alam. Pero, papatusin lang natin yung buy option kapag hindi lalagpas sa 14. The maximum price that we would be willing to pay for this item is $14. Correct answer is letter A. If the relevant cost of making is 14, then that would be the maximum price at which we would be willing to pay. Kapag daw titigil tayo sa paggawa, if we stop making, we can avoid $14 per unit. So how much are we willing to purchase the part outside? Not more than 14. Kasi kung tataas siya sa 14, edi gawin na lang natin, no? We would rather make rather than buy, no? We would rather make instead of buying. So, hanggang 14 lang, i-consider natin. Letter A. Next, refrigerator company. I'll give you another 2 minutes. I'll give you another 2 minutes. Okay, if you're not yet done, please pause. Refrigerator company manufactures ice makers for installation in refrigerators. The cost per unit for 20,000 units of ice makers are as follows. Cool Compartments Inc. has offered to sell 20,000 ice makers to refrigerator company for $28 per unit. If refrigerator accepts Cool Compartments offer, 2 alternatives are available for the ice maker manufacturing plant. The plant can be idled or it can be retooled to produce water filtration units. So here's the requirement. If the refrigerator idles its plant, fixed man-hour overhead amount to $6 per unit could be eliminated. What's the total relevant cost associated with the manufacture of ice makers amount to? Now, pagdating sa cost to make, dalawang bagay ang titingnan natin. Number one, what's the avoidable cost? When the problem is silent, only the variable manufacturing cost, DMDL and variable manufacturing cost would be considered avoidable. So 7, 12, and 5 is 24 times 20,000 units, that's $480,000. Next, when the problem is silent, fixed overhead is unavoidable. However, out of the $10, 6 allegedly can be eliminated. So kung $6 can be eliminated, yun yung i-consider natin dito. 6 times 20K. Your fixed man-hour overhead is 120,000. In this scenario, there's no alternative. The refrigerator company will idle its existing plant. Hindi magkakaroon ng opportunity cost. So the relevant cost of making is $600,000. Correct answer is letter C. No? So what would happen if we will make this ice makers? Okay, may gastos tayo. Kung titigil tayo sa paggawa, hindi lahat ng gastusin yung maiiwasan. Yung mga maiiwasan lang, yun lang yung isasama natin sa calculation. Only the avoidable portion of the cost should be considered in the calculation. So you have here 24 variable man-hour cost and 6 fixed overhead that is avoidable. That would give you 30 times 20K, 600,000. There's no opportunity cost. So accordingly, refrigerator idles is existing plant. So walang opportunity cost sa case na ito. I'll give you a few minutes to answer this one. Okay, so this is the same case. This is basically the same case. One of refrigerator company. But this time, the alternative to making is to retool. No? Retool to produce water filtration units. So this time, here's the requirement. If refrigerator retools its existing plant, revenues from the sale of water filtration units, that is what you will produce if you retool the refrigerator plant, are estimated at $80,000. Variable cost amounting to 60% of the sales. So what does it mean? The contribution margin would be 100 minus 60, 40%. In addition, $6 per unit of the fixed overhead associated with the manufacture of ice makers could be eliminated. For refrigerator company to determine the most appropriate action to take in this situation, the total relevant cost of make versus buy, I did not give the choices here, The total relevant cost of make versus buy, respectively, is... Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to contemplate more. Ayan. Kung hindi pa kayo tapos, pwede naman kayo mag-pause. No? Kung hindi pa tapos, pwede mag-pause. Ayan. Sige, pause muna. Kung hindi pa tapos, spoiler alert na, no? I'm going to show the solution. So here's the official solution. In the cost to make, ginaya niya lang dito sa original problem, no? Kanina. Just consider the avoidable cost, and if any, variable manufacturing cost when silent. If any, some fixed manufacturing overhead would be avoidable. So accordingly, the relevant cost constitutes only of the avoidable cost of 600,000, no? 480K variable manuf, 120K fixed manufacturing overhead. So the relevant cost of making would be $600,000. Okay, yan yung cost of making. Ngayon, kapag mag-decide si refrigerator company na bumili na lang sa labas, ang gagastusin niya ay purchase cost, 28 per unit. 28 times 20K is 560,000. However, should refrigerator company decide to buy, the space consumed by making will now be freed up. Yung factory space para sa make option, pwede nang i-retool at kumita ng 80K less 60%. So there will be savings of or additional income to offset the cost amounting to 80,000 the revenue times 0.4. 1 minus 0.6. So the contribution margin ratio must be 0.4. So the savings would be the contribution margin from the sale of these water filtration units, no? Yung alternative use of the factory. So the cost of buying would be $528,000. Okay? So what's the relevant cost to make? 600K. What's the relevant cost to buy? 528K. Okay. Now, alternatively, we can have the following solution instead. By the way, based on this calculation, it is recommended to buy. It's cheaper to buy by $72,000. No? It is recommended to buy and save $72,000. Now, this is the official answer, by the way. Make relevant is 600K. Buy relevant is 528K. My alternative solution is to consider the amount of contribution margin that you can earn from the water filtration units as an opportunity cost of making. So my alternative solution to this is under the cost of making. The relevant cost would include both variable manuf cost and fixed manuf cost, 480K and 120K. And because when you make, you consume the space that could otherwise be used to earn something else, there's an opportunity cost of 32,000, calculated as revenues from the water filtration plant would be 80K times the contribution margin ratio, 1 minus 60% is 40%. 80K times 40% is 32,000. So if you would follow this kind of convention, ang ginawa mo dito sa alternative use, ginawa mo siyang opportunity cost of making, you would arrive at a total relevant cost to make of 632,000. Now, what about the cost to buy? What about the cost to buy? Literally, yung purchase cost lang ng pagbili, 560,000. Well, the relevant cost of making is different from the first scenario, the first solution. And the relevant cost of buying is also different. Take note that their difference is still the same. According to this new analysis, make will include an opportunity cost, and the buy would be exclusively the purchase cost. The difference between the make and the buy option is still 72,000 in favor of buying. So whether you use this solution here on top or the one at the bottom, you should arrive at the same difference, 72,000. And the same alternative to be recommended. In this case, it is buy. Okay? So that's it for refrigerator company. Okay. So we're now down to sell or process further. Okay, we're now down to sell or process further. We have 3 more decisions to discuss. No? Okay. So what is this sell or process further? A sell or process further decision is one where we would decide to either sell a product immediately or process it further to earn more revenue. So what is a sell or process further type of decision? It's one where the decision is whether to sell a product immediately or process it further to earn more revenue. Note that although processing further can increase your revenue, it will take additional cost to process further. So you have to make sure that the additional revenues is worth it compared to the additional cost. Okay? So what would happen if you sell the product as is? Walang dagdag na revenue, walang dagdag na cost. Zero change in your profit. If you sell immediately, no added cost, no added revenue, zero change in profit. If we process further, the sales revenue will increase. However, the cost will also increase as well. So it's just a comparison between incremental sales and incremental cost. What's the difference? Should the difference be positive, no? Kung positive yung difference, incremental profit yan, it would be better to process further. Pero kung nag-negative ito, if there will be an incremental loss, it would be better to earn zero rather than negative. So sell na lang tayo kaagad. Now, marami tayong may encounter na joint production sa ganitong klaseng problem. Ano nga ulit yung joint production? A joint production is a production that would lead to more than one, no? To more than one product. Now, in a joint production, anything incurred before the products become identifiable from one another, we call it the split of point, are called joint costs. Take note to always ignore joint costs whenever they are stated. So, ito na lang, no, para ma-imagine niyo yung itsura. So, ito yung joint process. No? Ito yung joint process. Okay. This is the joint process. At the split of point, the joint process would yield 3 products. Product X, product Y, and product Z. Okay, yan yung tatlong produkto dito sa joint process na to. So what's the concern? Should we sell X as is or process it further first to increase revenue? Should we sell Y as is or should we process it further to increase the revenue and hopefully would overtake the cost? How about Z? Sell immediately or process further? No? Pag sinabi kong process further, pwedeng i-upgrade, tatapusin, o dadagdagan ng feature, no? Ayan. So, this is called X100, no? X100. From Y, magiging Y100. From Z, magiging Z100, no? An upgraded version, no? An upgraded version of the product. Okay? So, the issue is, should we sell X as is or process it further? Should we sell Y as is or process it further? Should we sell Z as is or process it further? Now, any cost that you incurred before the split off is called a joint cost. So, ang tawag sa mga cost na na-incur, bago sila maging identifiable, ang tawag dyan ay joint cost. Now, as you can see, the joint cost is already incurred before the decision of whether to sell or process further becomes relevant. Bago pa magkaroon ng issue na sell process further. Sell, process further. Sell, process further. Before that concern comes up, the joint cost is already incurred. So this joint cost is therefore irrelevant already. No? Hindi na siya future cost. Irrelevant na yung joint cost pagdating sa sell or process further type of problem. Anyway, let's move on. In a joint manufacturing process, joint costs incurred prior to a decision as to whether to process the products after the split of point should be viewed as blank. I'll give you a few seconds. Okay na? So, when is a joint cost incurred? Before the split of point. No? Joint costs, these are all incurred before the products become identifiable from one another. So, by the time you're going to make a sell or process further type of decision, the joint cost is already a past cost. No? It's already a sunk cost. Yung joint cost, ini-incur yan before split off. Ang sell or process further, ginagawa yan after split off. By the time the issue of the sell or process further comes to us, the joint cost has already been incurred. So, sunk cost na yung joint cost sa mga ganitong issue. Okay? So, how about this one? I'll give you a minute to think about the answer. Okay, let us now answer. Each day, Dreamy Desserts manufactures several thousand gallons of vanilla ice cream from milk, cream, sugar, and vanilla extract. The firm can then sell the ice cream as is, or it can add additional ingredients and process it into chocolate or strawberry ice cream. Based on this description, which of the following is accurate? So when do we spend the vanilla extract? The vanilla extract was incurred before split off. Bago pa magkaroon ng vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry, pinasok na yan. Vanilla extract na yan. That vanilla extract is therefore considered a joint cost. So, ano-ano yung mga costs in-incur natin bago nagkaroon ng iba't ibang flavor? Yun yung joint cost. So, bago magkaroon ng vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry, pinaghalo-halo muna natin yung milk, cream, sugar, and vanilla extract. Okay? They were all mixed before we decide to whether sell them as vanilla or process further to chocolate or strawberry. Now, how about packaging? How about packaging? Okay, yung pag-package, ginagawa yan after split off. No? Alamin muna natin kung vanilla lang yan or maging strawberry, maging chocolate bago natin i-process, bago natin i-package. So the cost of packaging will be considered not a joint cost. It's already a separable cost. So the correct answer here is letter C. The amount spent on vanilla extract should be considered a joint cost. The amount spent on packaging the vanilla ice cream should not. Correct answer is letter C. Okay? So let us have one more problem. Okay, so here's the question. What is the profit or loss of a decision to sell or process a product further given the following information? So as I have told you a while ago, if we sell the product as is, no additional cost or revenue. Sell the product as is, no additional cost or revenue. Zero change in profit. Should we decide to process further, if we will process further, the revenues will increase. Mula 12K, magiging 14K. That's an additional $2,000. However, we have to spend on processing costs. The incremental processing cost would be 1,000. So 2K minus 1K, panalo ka pa ng $1,000. Correct answer is B as in boy. No? B as in boy. Okay? So that's the correct answer for this problem. $1,000. Okay, so I'm going to end the second video here. And please follow, no? Please follow through video number 3.